Hello students, in the previous video we had studied concepts related to solutions. In solutions we had studied about Raoult's law. Under Raoult's law we had studied ideal solutions, non-ideal solutions, where it is based on the type of interactions, that is in pure form how the interactions will be, and when they combine to form binary mixtures how the interactions will be. Based on that we have ideal and non-ideal solutions. Yes, now in non-ideal solution we studied two types, one which shows positive deviations and other solutions which shows negative deviations. Which shows positive deviation? Which has weak interactions in their solution form than in the pure form, so that more vapors can be formed. Yes. Negative deviations, where the interaction is so strong that they cannot further volatilize, that means it cannot vaporize and form more vapors, then it shows a negative deviation. We saw the diagram also. Yeah. So we studied the examples as well, where for negative deviation even chloroform and acetone is also example, where chloroform, hydrogen and acetone's O bond strongly, and then when there is more force of attraction it cannot evaporate easily, so negative deviation or vapor pressure decreases. So in the graph you see negative deviation. Yeah. Now we will see next one, azeotropes. You know what are azeotropes? It comes under the same concept related to non-ideal solutions. Now we know when we mix two solutions or liquid solutions we get a binary mixture. Some binary solutions can have same composition in its solution phase as well as in its vapor phase also. In its liquid phase as well as in its vapor phase, they can have same composition, and such solutions are called as azeotropes, or we call them as azeotropic mixtures also. That too at constant temperature it boils. So what is it? Azeotropes, some binary mixtures have same composition in liquid as well as vapor phase and boils at constant temperature. These are called as azeotropes or azeotropic mixture. This mixture is called as azeotropic mixture. Now one example is alcohol and water. So for alcohol, if the boiling point is 78.2, then when you combine it with water, you see that its boiling temperature is 78.3. See earlier example 78.2 degrees Celsius, then in the solution it will be 78.3 degrees Celsius. You see, if you consider almost at constant temperature it boils at constant temperature, so they have same composition in liquid phase as well as vapor phase, and such mixtures are called as azeotropic mixtures. We have two types of azeotropic mixture. One is minimum boiling azeotropes, other one is maximum boiling azeotropes. Which are the two types of azeotropes? Minimum boiling and maximum boiling azeotropes are the two types, out of which minimum boiling azeotropes means the solutions or mixtures which shows a large positive deviation. Mixtures that show large positive deviation from Raoult's law. Positive deviation from Raoult's law. And those are called as minimum boiling azeotrophs. Example, alcohol, that is ethanol and water mixture. This forms minimum boiling azeotrophs. Which type of solutions? Which has or which shows large positive deviation, whereas the mixtures that shows large negative deviation from Raoult's law forms maximum boiling azeotrophs. Example, nitric acid and water mixture. Nitric acid and water mixture. These are some types of azeotrophs that you need to know. Moving further, a new property of solutions we will be studying, which is called as colligative properties. Colligative properties. Now, since we have studied about the different properties, especially in solutions, we have concentrated more on the vapor pressure properties, isn't it? How the vapor pressure varies. Now, if it can easily evaporate, vapor pressure will be more. If it cannot easily evaporate, then vapor pressure is less. Yeah. So there are some properties which are related to this vapor phase, and that is what we are going to study now. What are these colligative properties? There are some properties which depends on the number of solute particles. Solute particles, you know, solution means solute and solvent forms solution. Solute, solvent. So if the property depends on number of solute particles but not on its nature, are you getting it? The property that depends on number of solute particles but not on its nature, that is, it is independent of the nature of the particle, then we call such properties as colligative properties. Write a definition for it. The properties that depends only on the number of solute particles but not on its nature, or you can write it is independent of its nature, then we call them as colligative properties. So some of the colligative properties that we will be studying in this unit is relative lowering of vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, elevation in boiling point of the solvent. Next is depression in freezing point of the solvent. And the other property that we will be studying is osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure. So these are the important properties, colligative properties that we will be studying. Relative lowering of vapor pressure means decrease in the vapor pressure when a non-volatile solute is added. And elevation. Elevation means what? Elevator, elevation, increase. Increase in boiling point of the solvent. So it's again related to vapor pressure. Depression in freezing point. Depression means going down. So depression in freezing point of the solvent. Freezing point decreases. So again that is related to vapor phase, that is vapor pressure, and it is again a colligative property where it depends only on number of solute particles but not on. Okay students, so in the previous video we had discussed up to the introduction of colligative properties, where I had mentioned you that there are 4 important colligative properties that we are discussing in this unit, which are the relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point of solvent, depression of freezing point of solvent, and then comes osmotic pressure. Yes, so we'll discuss one by one now. Before that, what you need to know, what are colligative properties? Colligative properties are those which depends on the number of solute particles but are independent of its nature. They do not bother of what its nature is, but they depend on the number of solute particles. That itself, if you remember, it's good, well and good. First property under colligative property that we study is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, relative lowering of vapor pressure. If you go back and remember of what we had studied related to vapor pressure, what I had told, if it is a pure solvent means it contains only the solvent molecules. So only solvent molecules will be present on the surface. So when they evaporate, the number of molecules in the vapor phase will be more. But if you have added a solute along with solvent, say solute along with solvent molecules you have added, then what happens on the surface? You can see along with the solute solvent molecules, you can see the solute particles also on the surface. Yes, that means what happens now, the solute which you have added is non-volatile. Solute particle is non-volatile, means that doesn't evaporate. Only the solvent has to show has to get converted to vapor phase. So here very less solvent molecules will be present on the surface. That means vapor pressure decreases, whereas vapor pressure will be high in the case of pure solvent. Are you getting the point? In pure solvent, vapor pressure will be more because more solvent molecules can evaporate, whereas in solution the vapor pressure decreases due to addition of non-volatile solute. What is it? Non-volatile solute. So how you can start writing a note on this, you can say when a non-volatile solute is added to a pure solvent, then the vapor pressure gradually starts decreasing, or vapor pressure decreases. So this scientist Raoult, he gave explanation, or he established the relationship based on this decrease of vapor pressure also, isn't it? And that is why we can relate. He said what? Raoult established that vapor pressure, that is lowering of vapor pressure, you can say lowering of vapor pressure depends on the number of solute particles, depends on the number of solute particles and is independent of their identity, and is independent of their identity. Do you agree with this? Yes, because see here how many solute particles are present, based on that vapor pressure is decreasing, isn't it? So Raoult said the decrease of vapor pressure or lowering of vapor pressure depends on the number of solute particles but not on the nature of the solute particles. Hence it is a colligative property. Now we will arrive at an expression, a small derivation related to relative lowering of vapor pressure. Important because based on this you will be solving the numerical problems, and so you will have to understand. So what is it? We can write relationship between vapor pressure of solvent. Relationship between vapor pressure of solvent. How can I denote it? Let me denote it as P1 naught mole fraction, that is X, and vapor pressure of solution is say P1 is given by the expression is given by, are you getting the point? Vapor pressure of solvent, that means it is in the pure form, no? So we will indicate as P1 naught here. Mole fraction is denoted as X. Vapor pressure of the solution. Solution means by adding solute to the pure solvent, what you get, that is solution. Its vapor pressure which has decreased, no? That one is P1 now. This can be related as how? P1 is equal to X into P1 naught, or I can write X1 into P1 naught. This is the expression. Write down. Then we will see. I'll just erase this. Therefore, reduction of vapor pressure of solvent is, that is solvent in solution, is given as, how can you write it? Now you know, but after adding a non-volatile solute to the solvent, vapor pressure has decreased. How can you denote it as? You can denote it as delta P1 is equal to, initially it was P1 naught. It was a pure solvent without solute particles. So that's vapor pressure is P1 naught. Now after adding solute, it has reduced to, vapor pressure has reduced, isn't it? So we write P1 naught minus P1. Hope it is clear. P1 naught is for pure solvent, vapor pressure of pure solvent. P1 is vapor pressure of solution. After adding solute, the vapor pressure decreases, that one, okay? So delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1. Now, from 1, I can write, from equation 1, I can write the value of P1 as, in the place of P1, I will write X1 P1 naught. Okay? Therefore, delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus X1 P1 naught. So I can take P1 naught common here, both common terms we can see. Therefore, delta P1 is equal to P1 naught into 1 minus X1. Hope it is clear. No confusion till here. I have just taken the common factors here out. Therefore, 1 minus X1 we have got. Next, what can I write here? We also know as X1 plus X2 is equal to 1, mole fraction. The sum of mole fraction of the components will be equal to 1 in the solution. Therefore, I can write 1 minus X1 means X2 is equal to 1 minus X1, isn't it, if you take it to the right hand side. So in the place of 1 minus X1, I can write X2. Therefore, delta P1 is equal to P1 naught into X2. Hope you have understood till here. No confusions. Here what I have written, the relationship that is relating the vapor pressure of solvent, pure solvent, vapor pressure of the solution, and mole fraction I have written. Then I have told reduction means there will be change in the vapor pressure, isn't it? So reduction of vapor pressure, delta means change. Change in vapor pressure can be written as P1 naught minus P1 because this is initial. From that some amount has been decreased, vapor pressure has decreased. So I'll write P1 naught minus P1, and in the place of P1 I can write this, I can substitute the value here, and from there you have just taken the common part. I'll erase this. And here what is written? X2 has been written. X2 is what? Mole fraction of the next component. Or I can also write this as delta P1, P1 naught I'll take it to the other hand side, P1 naught is equal to X2, correct? P1, delta P1 naught by P1 naught is equal to X2 I have written. And this part, the left hand side, when you write here in a note statement, you write the left hand side is called, or you can say delta P1 by P1 naught is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure of the solution. Why? Here you are relating, isn't it? Initially for the pure solvent you are relating with that of the solution. So you call it as relative lowering of vapor pressure. Now it is clear of what I am telling you. Now this one I can also write it as delta P1 by P1 naught is equal to, in the place of X2. What is X2? Mole fraction means what? Number of moles of that component divided by number of moles of all the components present in the solution. Am I right? So I'll be substituting that value here. N2 by N1 plus N2. As per the formula. Now further, what can I write this as? N2 by N1 plus N2, I can write it this way, isn't it? What is number of moles formula? Number of moles, N is equal to given mass by molar mass, or say weight by molar mass. So I can write N2 as W2 by M2. W2 is given mass, M2 is molar mass. Same way for N1 I will write W2 by M1. But here remember, for a dilute solution, here I have written N1 plus N2, no? For dilute solution, N2 in the denominator, N2 in the denominator will be very less. N2 in the denominator will be very less, and so it can be neglected. That you have to mention there, the statement. What is it? For dilute solution, N2 in the denominator is very small and can be neglected. Therefore, you can write delta P1 by this expression here. I'll just continuing. P1 naught is equal to, in the place of N2, it becomes like this, N2 by N1. So you can write W2 by M2 whole divided by W1 by M1, given mass by molar mass for N1. Or I can write this expression as delta P1 by P1 naught is equal to W2 by M2 into, this comes the other way, M1 by W1. This is the final expression for relative lowering of vapor pressure. So here we can determine the molar mass also. This is molar mass of one component, molar mass of another component. So using this we can determine. So this is about relative lowering of vapor pressure. Just go through it. So here just explain the term. You know, W2 and W1 are masses. W1 and W2 are masses. M1 and M2. M1 is molar mass of solute, molar mass of solvent, and M2 is molar mass of solute. Just make a note of it. M2 is molar mass of solute, M1 is molar mass of solvent. Hope it is clear. Just have a look at it, note down all the points. And related to this, the numerical problem we'll discuss in the next video. Thank you.